You know me, when it comes to me collecting Trackmaster or Plarail models, I usually do World's Strongest Engine. But most of the time I haven't done these full reviews yet. I actually did one on Gordon, but now it's time for the other big tender engine in the show to get a spotlight, Henry. I have 4 versions of him that I would love to review on all of them. That is right, we have 4 Henrys to actually go over and see which one is the superior. We'll go on and get started with the Tomy Henry from the 90s. And this model is a little bit outdated, but at the same time, it is still a gold charm. Yes, it does suck he has a red running board instead of a white running board. All the lining was unpainted, and his tender is just one big sticker on both sides, which you know how much Streamline hates stickers on these models. Well, I'll give this one a pass because at the time, Plarail wasn't into printed on details at the time. So I'm going to give this one a pass for now. Overall, at the time, this was actually the Henry toy to actually work with during the time, considering the fact that a lot of people who were born in the 90s actually grow up with these type of toys. And yes, it did. And yes, I'm much older and will probably be gentle with most of these older toys and not be like some idiotic kid who likes to rip the stickers off, because once that happens, then your Thomas models are good as ruined. And if you play roughly with these stickers, then it will be like that one scene from Toy Story 3. And as for the faces from the 90s, it was painted on, and one hit on a wall and these guys will become big blackheads. But thankfully, down the line, Tomy was able to actually make a separate molded on face for Henry, as long as Gordon, Thomas, Edward, and James. But for some reason, Percy did not get it for some reason. So I'm gonna give this model of Henry a solid 8 out of 10. And now this is where the good stuff comes in, because we have the 2003 Plarail Henry to talk about. And boy, oh boy, this model is pure perfection. They still kept the long side rods that the older model had, which is actually pretty perfectionist. And I honestly kind of love the fact how they gave him a white running board and given him painted on stripes. And they actually painted his whistle, which I forgot to talk about, that the older Tomy Henry didn't have a painted on whistle. And while the 3 font is a bit smaller and different from the one from the Tomy model, it is printed on, however, so no more stickers. This is actually the perfect Henry definition by far, considering the fact that everything about it is just accurate. Though I wish he had the front bogey wheels in the back, but they weren't that smart with that at the time. So it's just me nitpicking. But again, I'll give this solid model a solid 10 out of 10. Now, before we actually get on to the 2018 Plarail Henry, we gotta talk about the 2012 Henry first. While this 2012 Henry isn't nowhere near as perfectionist as the 2003 Plarail Henry, there are some things I do like about this model that actually made me still like it a lot. For one, I actually do love how they actually kept the long side rods from him, which is actually really nice because, well, I really don't want normal side rods on a Henry like this, which is pretty weird if you ask me, because considering the fact that Henry's a big engine and Henry, Gordon, and Hero are the only engines with this type of side rod. The one thing I do like about this Henry is that the tender is actually uncoupled from the engine now, which is only used for Henry, James, and Edward at the time. They did not do one with Gordon, for some reason. So instead of actually having all the gears and motor in the engine and the battery in the tender, they actually put all of them inside the engine itself, which is actually really nice because it makes it a lot easier for engines to have a detachable tender while still moving. But there are a couple of flaws I have with the model, and these are minor flaws. The first flaw I have with the model is that I wish they actually gave him the two headlamps they actually gave him from the previous models, like the 2003 Plarail Henry and the Tomy Henry. It actually feels off in my opinion. The second problem I have with the model is that his boiler is a little bit too fat. Not gonna lie, Henry, it looked like you've been eating too many Cheetos, mate. Minor flaws aside, I do think this model is actually really good. So I'm gonna give this one a 8 out of 10. Good model. And now we have the 2018 Plarail Henry. And my honest thoughts about this model is mixed. There are some pros and some cons. The face on it looks alright. I mean, it's not actually the worst thing in the world. I actually do love how they actually painted whatever this is. I'm not sure. Also painted the whistle, and the stripes on it, which is actually really nice. And they actually cut the hole so that the cab actually looks more realistic, if you ask me. And it has a liberated tender, which for the other models don't have. Though, as always, not everything in this world is perfect, and I do have a few flaws with the model. Firstly, I'm honestly a bit disappointed they actually didn't give him the same side rods like they did with the 2016 redesign of Gordon. That's pretty lazy. Honestly, don't like the fact how they didn't paint the red stripes in his cylinders. That's also pretty lazy. But I actually did see the Unlucky Tug actually painted the red stripes on his cylinder to actually lift the look of the model. That's really nice of him. And they actually went lazy by actually not paint the running board in between his splashers. The whole area is just unpainted green plastic. And if you look at the back of him, this is the elephant in the room that I'm talking about. So you probably know what that problem is. Flaws aside, I do think this is an okay model. While I have actually seen worse, I do think this model is okay. I'm going to give this model a 5 out of 10. So while Henry isn't my #1 favorite engine in the Thomas world, I do think he's still one of my favorites in my heart, considering the fact that he was part of the Steam team from the Thomas line, and it's actually really good. And I honestly would care less if he was replaced by a yellow or orange engine, but he's still a favorite in my hearts. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the Henry review. See you next time.